Okay, so today is absolutely bonkers in AI news. We've got tech companies literally suing the government, the Pentagon throwing money at AI, and Yann LeCun raising over $1 billion because he is tired of AI hallucinating. Buckle up, because this is the wildest government aid drama we've seen yet. So here's the thing. Microsoft just pumped serious cash into Anthropic, and it is not because they suddenly got generous. The Defense Department was basically like, we're worried about AI supply chain risks, and Microsoft went, okay, let me fix that by investing in a domestic AI safety company. It is actually genius in a weirdly pragmatic way. Microsoft gets closer to defense contracts, Anthropic gets independence cred, and the Pentagon gets to feel like someone's thinking about national security. This move is going to become the playbook for how tech companies cozy up to government agencies. But wait, there is more. Anthropic is also suing the government over being blacklisted from Pentagon operations. And get this, Google and OpenAI literally filed legal briefs backing them up. That is right, competitors showing solidarity. The government basically said, we don't trust your AI and our military stuff, and Anthropic's response was absolutely not. That is unconstitutional. The real problem here is nobody's actually sure if AI is accurate enough for military targeting decisions. But everybody's arguing about who gets to make that call instead of actually answering the question. It is messy, it is important, and honestly, it is the most interesting legal fight in tech right now. While Anthropic's fighting the government, Google just rolled out a deal to supply AI agents directly to the Pentagon. So yeah, they're doing the opposite strategy. Intelligence analysis, operational planning, Google's providing the whole package. This is actually wild because it shows how differently companies are playing this game. Some are fighting for independence. Some are fully embracing the defense industrial complex. Google's probably going to make a ton of money from this, but it also means if that AI gets something wrong, there's going to be enormous scrutiny on the entire tech industry. Okay, so completely different vibe. Amy Labs just raised over $1 billion, and it is led by Yann LeCun, who is basically AI royalty. They're building world models, which is their fancy way of saying we're going to teach AI to understand the real world instead of just predicting the next word. The whole point is fixing the hallucination problem that has been plaguing language models. And honestly, the fact that investors threw $1 billion at a company that said this might take years to commercialize tells you something. People are getting nervous that we've hit the ceiling with just scaling up language models. This could be the next big research direction, or LeCun could be setting up the most expensive academic project ever. Either way, respect the hustle. Quick hit. Amazon sued Perplexity for scraping its data to power shopping bots, and Amazon won. This probably matters more than people realize, because if Perplexity can't access real-time Amazon pricing and products, their shopping feature basically dies. It is also setting a precedent that web scraping for AI training might not be as legally bulletproof as everyone thought. Fair warning to all those startups building on scraped data. All right, this one's genuinely scary. Tesla full self-driving drove straight through lowered railroad crossing barriers going 23 miles per h without even slowing down. This has happened over 40 times according to documentation. The video drops on the same day Tesla's supposed to send crash data to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration about nearly 3 million vehicles. Here's the problem. Tesla markets this as full self-driving, which is wildly misleading when it can't detect literal safety equipment. It is not fully self-driving. It is partially assisted driving, and calling it the wrong thing is how people get hurt. Murati, who recently left OpenAI, just secured a multi-billion-dollar chip supply deal with Nvidia for her startup thinking machines. This is huge because it signals that Nvidia, the actual gatekeeper of AI computing power, thinks her vision is legit in the AI industry right now. Securing Nvidia chips is like securing your own destiny. No chips, no company. The fact that she pulled this off so quickly after leaving OpenAI tells you that brand and track record matter way more than most startup founders realize. Okay, so remember when Anthropic refused to remove safety guardrails from their AI for military use? The Trump administration's response is an executive order kicking them out of every federal agency. Anthropic's fighting back, saying it is unconstitutional retaliation for protected speech. The CEO basically said they won't praise a dictator-style leadership approach, and apparently that is grounds for getting banned from government contracts. This is the messiest government tech standoff we've seen in years, and it is forcing the question of whether companies should have the right to refuse government contracts on ethical grounds. Also on BotBeat News for the full context. SoftBank just decided to take out a $40 billion loan specifically to invest in OpenAI. That is not investor confidence, that is investor obsession. It shows that at the highest levels of global finance, OpenAI is viewed as essentially owning the future of AI. Whether that turns out to be true is still up for debate. But the fact that massive institutional investors are willing to go this hard financially tells you something about how real they think the technology is. Nvidia just announced it is dropping a new Inference processor based on Groq technology at their big GTC conference, and they did this in 3 months flat. For context, Groq was trying to challenge Nvidia in the specialized AI chip space, and Nvidia basically said, actually, we'll just buy that technology and integrate it ourselves. The Groq team is already working at Nvidia on this. This is a huge move because it means Nvidia is now going after both the training market and the inference market, basically every dollar spent on running AI. If this processor works as promised, it could reshape how companies deploy AI models at scale. So here's the thing about Anthropic suing over restrictions. The company's definitely taking a more ethical stance than competitors by refusing to weaken safety guardrails for military use. But critics are pointing out something important: Anthropic's definitions of what they won't allow, like lethal autonomous weapons and mass surveillance, are actually really vague. There is no international definition of lethal autonomous weapon systems yet. So Anthropic's drawing lines that basically nobody else agrees on. The company deserves credit for having red lines, but good intentions without clear definitions are just marketing moves. This lawsuit might vindicate Anthropic legally, but it won't solve the actual problem of figuring out how to govern AI safely. So today we've got government fighting with AI companies, companies fighting with the government, and investors throwing obscene amounts of money at basically everything. It is chaos, it is wild, and it is definitely worth paying attention to because these decisions are shaping the future of AI right now. Subscribe to BotBeat News for tomorrow's update, and yeah, it is probably going to be just as bonkers.